man named Ethan Cole walked alone through the rain. His shoes were soaked, his backpack heavy, and his heart even heavier. He was 24, a law student with a mountain of debts, a sick mother waiting at home, and the memory of a father whose poor business choices had left behind nothing but bills and broken promises. Each drop of rain that hit his face felt like life, reminding him how hard things had become. That night, as Ethan sat in his small apartment beside his mother's bed, staring at unpaid medical bills, the phone rang. The voice on the other end was calm, elegant, almost commanding. "Mr. Cole," the woman said, "my name is Victoria Langford. I'd like to discuss your financial situation. Meet me at Langford Estate Cafe, 7 p.m. sharp." Before Ethan could even ask who she was, the line went dead. He sat there, confused, staring at the phone. He'd heard the name before, Victoria Langford, a millionaire entrepreneur, widow of the late Edward Langford, one of Seattle's wealthiest real estate moguls. But what could a woman like her possibly want with him? Still, desperation makes people do strange things, and Ethan had run out of options. The meeting. At exactly 7 that evening, Ethan arrived at the cafe, drenched from the rain. There, seated by the window, was Victoria Langford, a woman of poise and silence. Silver hair perfectly styled, pearl necklace resting elegantly on her throat, and eyes the color of cold steel. She gestured for him to sit. "Mr. Cole," she began, her voice smooth and confident, "I know about your situation, the debts, your tuition, your mother's illness. I can fix all of it." Ethan's eyes narrowed. "How do you know about my life?" A faint smile crossed her lips. "Let's just say I know more than you think, but there's one condition." She paused, leaned forward, and said something that made his heart stop. "Marry me." Ethan almost laughed, thinking it was a cruel joke. "You can't be serious," he said softly. "Oh, I'm completely serious," Victoria replied, her voice calm as ever. "It's not about romance. It's a contract. You'll be my husband in name only. I'll pay your debts, secure your future, and in return you give me companionship and loyalty." He stared at her, speechless. Who proposes marriage like it's a business deal? When he didn't respond, Victoria simply said, "Think about it. You have until tomorrow." A mother's advice. That night, Ethan sat beside his mother, Mary Cole, and told her everything. At first, she thought it was absurd. Then she saw the look in her son's eyes, the fear, the exhaustion, the quiet desperation. She took his hand and whispered, "Son, life doesn't always offer us fair choices. Sometimes survival means making the hard ones. Maybe this strange offer is your chance to start over." Her frail voice broke something in him. He couldn't sleep that night. He stared at the ceiling, listening to the rain, torn between pride and despair. By morning, he made his decision. The wedding. A week later, in a quiet courthouse with no guests, Ethan Cole became Mr. Langford. Victoria wore a pale blue dress and a distant smile. Ethan signed the papers, his hands trembling. When it was done, she turned to him and said coldly, "Welcome to your new life, Ethan." Outside, the rain had stopped, but the air still felt heavy. Langford Manor. When Ethan arrived at the Langford estate, he felt as though he had stepped into another world. The mansion loomed on a hill, grand, beautiful, and utterly lifeless. Inside, the halls were wide and cold, lined with old portraits and marble floors that echoed with every footstep. The servants greeted him politely, but avoided his eyes. No laughter, no warmth, only whispers that seemed to follow him wherever he went. At dinner that night, Victoria sat across from him at a long mahogany table, candlelight flickering between them. He tried to make conversation, but she remained distant. Finally, he asked quietly, "What was your husband like?" Her fork froze midair. For a moment, her expression darkened. "He was a businessman," she said flatly, "much like your father." Ethan frowned. "My father." Our husband's paths crossed once, she continued, her tone icy. It didn't end well. The way she said it sent a chill through his spine. Whispers and shadows. Over the next few days, Ethan began to notice things. The servants would stop talking when he entered the room. He caught fragments of hushed conversations. Why him? Does he even know? She never does anything without a reason. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. One evening, Victoria left early for a business meeting. As silence swallowed the mansion, Ethan wandered through the dim halls, his curiosity battling his fear. That's when he noticed a small ornate key on Victoria's desk, beside a half-finished letter. His heart pounded. He hesitated, then slipped the key into his pocket. The forbidden room. That night, long after everyone had gone to sleep, Ethan crept through the dark corridors. The air was cold, the floorboards creaked beneath his feet. Finally, he found a locked door, the one the servants always avoided cleaning. He inserted the key, the lock clicked. Inside was a dusty office, frozen in time. Photographs lined the walls. A young Victoria, her late husband Edward Langford, and another man Ethan didn't recognize. On the desk were piles of old documents, legal files, contracts, and letters. Curiosity turned to horror as he read one of them. It was a lawsuit, Edward Langford versus Richard Cole, his father. Fraud, embezzlement, a deal gone wrong that bankrupted the Langfords. And then a handwritten note in angry ink. You destroyed my family. You'll pay for this, even if it takes a generation. Ethan's breath caught. Beneath the papers lay a marriage license. His marriage license, dated weeks before he'd ever met Victoria. His heart began to race. It was all planned, every single thing. He found a leather-bound diary. One entry read, "He will pay for his father's sins. I will take from him what his father took from me, everything." The pages slipped from his trembling hands. Then a sound behind him. A voice cold and sharp. "Enjoying yourself." Ethan froze. Slowly he turned. There stood Victoria, her face half hidden in shadow. "Why did you marry me?" Ethan's voice cracked. Was it all revenge? She took a step closer, her expression hard as stone. "Your father ruined my life, Ethan. My husband died because of him. You're simply balance." And in that moment, Ethan realized the truth. He hadn't married a woman. He had married a plan, born from pain and polished by years of vengeance. And as the clock ticked loudly in that dark room, Ethan Cole understood. His life had just become a debt he might never escape.